For you guys who've been following my series on progressive resistance, you know that my big thing in training is you have to define progressive resistance. And by defining progressive resistance, anything that you call straight training has to be defined. So if you use weights, if you use push-ups, you can't train to exhaustion. You don't train to exhaustion with anything. So in this third part of the series, we're going to talk about training with these devices like a TRX. How do we train for progressive resistance with this? Because you might be doing a great job with your weights, and then you do your supplementary exercises, and you train to failure with this. Or in the case that we use here, is we use what's called a red rope. And this is the same thing, except in another company. We could also go so far as to use some kind of definition of progressive resistance with all this rubber band stuff that's been going on, because you can train to exhaustion on supplementary exercise with rubber bands, and now it affects your main movements the next day or that following week. So we need to define progressive resistance, and that's what this part will be about, and we'll see how we go with it. Go ahead. When we start to define progressive resistance with these devices, whether it be TRX, or in this case, the red rope, we have to have a starting position. So here we start with the red rope about 1 centimeter from the ground. So that all the exercises will be done from this starting position. And you'll notice on the ground here, we've set up tape that measures centimeters from the wall. You can also do this up the wall too if you want. But when we measure the centimeters from the wall, what we're trying to do is give us a position to go to when we start defining our progression. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go and show you how to test the different exercises using these two variables for a Foreman. Yep. And just start. What Fong's going to do from here is we're going to try and show you where his feet are at, and we're just going to demonstrate with a couple of simple exercises. We're going to do push-ups and then some kind of a rowing motion. So from here, he's going to do his push-ups. Begin. Now after he gets warmed up, we're going to find a place where his feet go, where he can do between 10 and 20 repetitions, and we're going to use that in the progression. So what we'll have now is, say he can do push-ups at 80 centimeters from the wall. Let's go to 80 centimeters there. So now what he's doing is he's going to test. And when he gets to, say, between 10 and 20, there'll be a failure point. So we know that for each set that he does, we know exactly where the ropes start, and we know exactly where his feet are going to be in each set that he does. And even though he can only do his maximum, say now is 12, there'll be a percent, we'll use a percentage of that number for each set that he does during the progression. Now we're going to follow the same procedure with rows. So we know with the rows, he's going to start to test when he finds out exactly how many he can do between 10 and 20, and this is a process that he goes through. And then we'll find a place where his feet will go in, and that's the position he'll use each time he does the exercise. So, and then at the end, like every exercise, we'll test, and hopefully, or without doubt, we'll go up. And then we're defining the progression, and we can see what happens.